It is a story that outraged viewers, and you're likely to get even more upset when you hear about a class action suit filed against the state for ticketing drivers who flash their lights to warn about a speed trap.
Now, while most law enforcement agencies have suspended the practice for now, 10 News investigator Mike Deason, who first broke the story, has found some agencies are still ticketing drivers no matter what.
It is the international signal for warning motorists there's a radar trap ahead. But as we explained several weeks ago, when Eric Campbell was ticketed for flashing his lights to warn drivers,
the police officer saw the blinking and he was upset.
Campbell filed a class action suit saying the Florida Highway Patrol and other police agencies were misinterpreting the statute.
It's an equipment statute. It has to deal with equipment on the vehicle itself. You cannot have red and blue flashing lights under subsection 1. You cannot have blinking lights under subsection 7.
Mark Jones is Campbell's attorney, and he says since we ran our first story, his firm has been besieged by people affected by this.
The public reaction to this has been quite incredible.
Although no one can come up with a solid figure on how many people have been ticketed in Florida in the past 5 years, according to the Florida Association of Court Clerks, it runs as low as 2,400 and as high as 10,429.
A majority of the people that we have spoken to have told us that they don't know why they were pulled over, and when they try to strike up a conversation with the officer is obviously agitated.
Judges throughout the state appeared agitated as well, as they've thrown out case after case in court. And while the Florida Highway Patrol has suspended the practice because of the lawsuit or because it might not feel as if it is on firm ground, that's not true with every police agency. For example, here in Oviedo in Seminole County, where one of the first flashing light tickets was thrown out of court, police officers are still allowed to write tickets for motorists who flash their lights.
We enforce the state statute, and the statute, like I said, clearly says those lights are prohibited.
Oviedo Police Lieutenant Mike Beavers doesn't believe the department is doing anything wrong.
Officers who observe vehicles with flashing lights, other than what was stated in the statute, pull motorists over, and through their discretion, they either educate the motorist about the violation or they issue a citation for it.
However, Jones says it's the Oviedo department and others who write tickets who need to go back to school and get some basic education on the difference between a verb and a noun, so they'll know that these are flashing lights, clearly prohibited by the statute, and this is the act of flashing your lights to warn motorists. Jones says that's not covered by the statute.
It says flashing lights are prohibited. Flashing lights is a noun in that sentence. It doesn't say flashing of lights is prohibited. That would be a verb.
And Jones says in the Oviedo Police Department case of issuing tickets, it's particularly egregious, he says, because they have a copy of the judge's order that threw the Oviedo ticket out of court.
They've had knowledge of this, but they're going to continue to do it because they don't agree with that determination. I don't care what that judge says. I'm going to do it anyways because I'm right.
And that attitude is part of the reason Campbell decided to fight the ticket.
But on principle, I had a real issue with them telling me that I couldn't communicate. You know, I wasn't aiding and abetting. I didn't know that the people coming at me were speeding.
But Beaver says the department is just enforcing the law and not inhibiting free speech.
If people want to stand on the side of the road holding a sign that the police are running radar ahead, they have every right to do so. If they want to come up to you at the gas station and inform you to be careful driving up the road because the police are up there running radar, that's within their right.
But as far as Oviedo is concerned, it's not your right to flash your lights in the city, and if you do, you could end up getting a ticket and becoming a member of the class action, saying it's a major misinterpretation of the law. Mike Deason, 10 News.
And we put more information about this story and the lawsuit on our website, wtsp.com.